Yeah. All right. This is the program for tonight. Talk something about lights, how to set them up and not have them flicker into each other and still keep a good lighting. Some effects and emittance. I don't know how it's pronounced. Emittance? And why it's important for a level. And I will just quickly show you, especially the new ones, how to NavMesh a mine and cave floor, because some people ask me if they have to follow the ground 100%, and it's a really uneven ground floor. So we'll be covering that as well. And a little about NavMesh in the exterior, how to deal with cell borders, and how to cut NavMesh out instead of deleting NavMesh. That's a very bad idea to delete NavMesh. We will I'll show how to make Navcuts, what they are used for, Occlusion Planes, and how to make ore veins, weapon racks, and weapon pages work. We'll go over sound markers and how you can create acoustic space boxes and effect boxes like dust and falling leaves and such things. And then the Northmarker and black planes, why they're important. And finally, we will clean a plugin in xEdit, so you learn how to do that properly and how to fix deleted NavMesh records. So let's get started. Yo. Yes, please. Okay. Uh, let's start with I made this small cave here for this occasion, and we will try to do something about it with some different things. First, I'll show how to do like this. Have it look like this, with the sun coming down and some wet mist coming through, lights. And if we do like this, you can see how it changes according to the time of the day. It's really important to have this effects in your levels, otherwise they're just boring and dull, plain and simple. So I have one here where you can see the sky is up. That's a hole. And first, let's put markers on. I have under movable statics over here, you can type in mist or you can type in can't remember, dust, and you will get some beams for that. So we can just, let's see, take one here, and then you just drag it in, give it a rotation. That was probably a bit too much. Something like that. And have it up. And we can't see it yet, because there almost no light. And make sure that the beam isn't much bigger than the hole and not much smaller than the hole it's coming through. That looks kind of stupid. And place it approximately in the middle. And then we will have a Under light, we'll check sunlight. This one, that's a spotlight. That means it only shines, give out light in this direction, not there or backwards. Put that in, rotate it a bit, and take it down. And have it approximately in the middle as well, like that. And then we can do something like that. Just scale it up and down, holding down S and drag your mouse up and down. And the dust is almost can't really be seen. We just use another one. Oh, and I can just show you how to, if you copy the text over here and go in here, press Control F, you get this box where you can replace the selected item. Then you can go in wildcard replacement and replace with Control V with this one. Boom. And if you hold down a Alt while you scroll on your wheel, you can change as well between. That's an easier way to replace. That one was a bit too small. This one. This is the same one as I used over here. So now we want to give it some glow. Go under. Well, they are here. They're just like this. With a different strength. We can put one very up here. That wasn't really strong. Well, you can see it around if you do like this. Not really. Okay. So we've put one there. We duplicate it. Have one here. We can change that to another one. And we can give it one more in the bottom. That would be like something like this. And now for the emittance on everything of all this. Start with the just hide some of it. That is just in the way. The sun, we go under the emittance tab. And we want to go for exterior lights. We go down to FX. And we just pick the region, FX lights, region sunlight. Okay. And that should, yeah, you can see now the sunlight is changing. And we can either give this beam one as well, or we can give it a color. Up here, interior light, you can color it in every possible color you want. So you can make a pink beam if that's what you want, if you have a pink light. So we'll just give it a sunlight as well. Now it's much more noticeable. And if we do again, it just looks good. And we will do the same with these glows. Sunlight, go away. Effects, sunlight. Autosave. Yeah, remember to turn on autosave, by the way. It's a good idea. So now we have set everything up. Hard to see because of that wall, but that's how it looks. So that's pretty simple how you do that. These glows are maybe a bit too strong. That was a little better. And to make it even better, we can just place some trees up here and what's not. I don't have to show you how to place a tree. I think you know that, but something so it looks like this on the top. So when you look through the hole, you will see trees. Beautiful. And then over here somewhere, yes, here. By the way, anyone have questions about this? Speak up. No one? Great. Okay. On to the next one. Over here we have a what's it called? Removable torch. If you know the torches you can take in game, it is this one you will use for that. It's under Activator. So if you place that and we turn on markers, you place a light next to it. You can use whatever light you want. And then you will, I'm just going to show you this real quick. You will just use the linked ref. Simply just link it to, just delete it and like this. And select the lights. Okay. So now when the player activates this and take the torch, this light deactivates. So that's how you do that. Remember to take notes. I think, and we will cover this some more. We're in a house and in a shack. The shack is mainly meant for the SCP students, but everybody can use it if they decide to build a shack in the interior. So let's move on to a house and do some funny things there. Build this beautiful home. It's beautiful, right? Yeah. nice and cozy. Where we will give it some effects. Move away. As you can see here, I have cheated a bit and started. And you can see here how it looks at the windows. If we, and by the way, if you want to be able to see this, you have to have effects and lights turned on. Otherwise, nothing happens when you draw on this. But for this dust theme here, oops, I just used Beam XP Dust 1. Let's see if we can find it. This one. You can pick whatever one you choose, but don't go like this for Windows. It's just crazy. Or you can use whichever one you want. But again, don't have it bigger than the window piece itself. And this is rotated to a 45 degrees. That fits perfect for a window. And the light I have at the window is the window light, solitude in window default, which again have an emittance where I've just chosen weather solitude because this is a house for solitude. So I've just picked solitude. If you're doing rift, and there's one for the rift, and there's one for the reeds, and so on. Markarth, mountains, and so on. Play around with it and see what matches your best to the liking. And of course, this one have a FH region sunlight. Again, you can pick whatever one you want and play around with it to your liking. And lastly for this, these wall pieces with windows also have this emittance. FX region sunlight white. Again, you can pick whatever one you want. This or this or. I play around with it. But I've noticed while doing this, the emittance isn't really showing on the solitude wall houses or wall pieces. But this is a Riften one, where it's quite noticeable. As you can see here on the windows. And don't ask me why it's not that noticeable on these windows. I have no idea. And I have a small glow also. If we hide it, you can see the difference it makes in the house. So this is just to create some more ambience or what's not in a home. So we can just try and do this for all window pieces. And we can see how it looks. I just mark all these. Make sure I have all things. Just copy it or duplicate it. And then place it around here. Make sure it's in the middle of the window. That. Like that. And it's definitely not in the middle. And here, since we have a window here, we don't duplicate the light bulb here. But we will move the light bulb instead and have it around here. And we will turn up for the light radius like that. Then we can increase the strength of the light as well. Up here in light data, we can change this to 3 and it give a little more light. Take this, this, duplicate, move them over. There. Yeah, that's about right. Right about there, I think is fine. For that one. Sorry, my headphones just went off. Where do we have another? We have another window over there. Drag again. And where do we have it? We have it there. Approximately about there. Yes. No windows there. One there and one there. Good.
I ask a quick question while you're doing this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so oh, by the way, hello Kasala. This is Ruben.
Oh, hello, Ruben.
Hello.
What's up, my friend?
A lot of things, but in any case, so the plus, what is it? It's the plus sign thing that it's like one. It's each axis is one of that.
This
Yeah,
one,
that thing. What exactly is that doing? Like, it's not emitting light per se, or is it? Like, what is it?
if you can see around here, it's a glow. Simply just a glow.
Okay, and what are
That
those?
is
What are those called again?
effect glow round.
Oh, glow.
Glow. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been using those in places. I've just been using the mist or the dust ones. So that will be a good tool to use.
Yeah, that's really good,
I
and
thought
you
of that
can
now.
change the color for it as you want.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Place that in. Move it around. Oh, it needs to get more in. Need to move it in here, like that. And in the middle. Perfect. I think that was all the windows covered. And of course, we have to check that all the window pieces have the effects. That was the one. Yes, I chose. So we get the change in the window themselves as well. It's quite quick to do when you get used to it. So I just do it quickly.
Yet again, another thing that I didn't know you could do.
Yeah, let's hear.
Emittance of the walls. Nice.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. I didn't know this either until I checked, went through some vanilla homes, and just messed with everything, and I saw the windows were changing, and I thought, how the heck did they do that? And apparently, that's Salmon. Nope, not you. Yes, that's the window piece. Got both there. Yes. This one. Yes.
I'm already thinking of a way that I would do it is like turn it to like something that's like maybe nighttime or something that's glowing very differently. And then that way you know which windows do have it and which one you haven't applied yet.
Oh, but then you'll have to change it twice.
No, like just the time of day. Switch the time of day to being like a darker thing, because then you can clearly see the ones that aren't, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's
And
see.
you know which ones aren't. You haven't applied yet.
We can just smooth this out and see if it actually works. Not sure it really does. Nah, it's not really working on these solitude windows.
Oh well, yeah. Other than the solitude windows, though.
It's so annoying. But see, the Riften, that works. That's Bethesda in a nutshell. I think.
It just works.
It just works. We don't know how, it just works. And all these glows as well. And of course, this is way faster to do if you just do it on the first one before you start to duplicate them. That's the one I used, right? Yeah. So you won't have to do them all again. It's just unnecessary work I'm doing here. I could have avoided if I just used my brain a bit. Sunlight. Oh, you had one. What about you? Think that should be all of them. It just give some life to the home, some realism. If you do this, and especially if you log in, this could be lowered a bit. I can see. So if you see, this looks much better than if we did like this. If we just take the glow as well. If we remove them, dull and boring. So that's why effects and emittance is so important to do.
If you were using any lighting modes like looks, for example, would you have to redo these for a compatibility patch? Or how does that exactly work?
I think you'll have to redo because, as far as I know, Lux uses its own lights. It creates new lights. So you'll have to do this in your home to make a patch for it. And I know enhanced lights and effects changes some vanilla lights, but if you make a house, you have to go through and put emittance on what you want. And just to spice up this place even more, I prepared this fireplace lights that we will move into the home and see how it looks. That beautiful. So you place inside the fireplace, you place a shadow caster and place it so it doesn't look too weird up on top and to the sides. It's hard to avoid this, for example. And if we take it out too much, it also looks weird here. So yeah, play around with it, and then a little bit out from this fireplace, we place a non-shadow firelight to give the right feel of it.
I have a question about the beams.
Yes.
I notice you place all of them going through the floor. Does it matter if it's floating above for how it looks?
Oh, I can see. Well, we can change that. I actually didn't think of that.
That's good too. I was referring more to like I'm making a dungeon where it floats above like very high and I can't. And is it fine to scale it up?
You can do
The,
something. Yeah, you can just move it around a bit so it doesn't clip through the floor. Now it's still a little bit. Move it out and up. But the thing is, they are of more strength the further up they goes. If you go down, you see there's not much dust to be seen.
Well, there are some shorter ones too, right?
I don't think there's any shorter ones. To be honest, they're not shorter. They are wider.
you have the option to make them bigger. But I don't know if you go further.
Yeah, you can of course scale them. Oh, it's only the oops. But this is also okay. You can still see it.
Would scaling the lights depending on the orientation of the house be a good idea? For example, if the sun is from the south or from the north, I don't know how it is in Skyrim exactly. The light beam should be stronger on one side than on the other, maybe.
Good luck with trying to do that. That's all I can say. Good luck. I'm not going to put that much detail into it because the sun will move during the day. So you will have to script something that changes the
But my
intensity.
immersion.
What?
But my immersion.
You can't do that. You can have the light reflect time of day. That's all you can do.
Okay.
Unless you are some kind of scripting wizard, you probably can do the other thing. Have it follow the sun around, but I don't know how to do that. And last thing, once you are done with a dungeon or a house or whatever you're doing, and have placed all the lights, you will check if you have too many light sources affecting the same area. Remember, we can only have 3 light sources affecting one mesh, or it will start to flicker. And if you're doing a dungeon, you also have to take into account that a player's torch is also counted as a light. So you can't have 3 light sources hitting one mesh in a dungeon, and then the player come around with a torch. Then you have 4, and the player will experience light flicker. It's annoying.
So is it always smart to use 2 lights, since if the player were to use like candlelight or mage light, the spells that constantly have a light source, it will start to flicker?
Yeah, when I do dungeon, I tend to only have 2 lights hitting a mesh to give the player the option to have a torch. But in a house, you can have 3 lights hitting a mess with no problem, because I don't think anyone would use a torch inside a house unless they want to burn it down or something. But how you check this? By right-click, render window properties, shaders, and hit this box, debug of lights. And we can see here, this actually gives some problems, can give problems. Blue and green is really good colors. When we go into purple and in the last end red, that is meshes that could cause issues. So there's something to fix here, maybe. And we can see here why, for example, the stairs are red. I've just put on these radius markers. You do that by having markers shown and press L. That shows the radius of the light. We can see here the stairs are being hitting by this light and by this light and by this light over here. This light just so it, even though it's just here, the hitting a little bit like this, it still counts as the whole mess in one or something. So there's something to work on here. I'm not going to do that, just to show you how you can see this. But I have tested this in game and there is no flicker. I have done everything. So sometimes it just like to behave like an angry girlfriend or something. But if your whole house here is red and purple, then that's a sign of you have to fix something. One thing we can do to try to make it better is, no, not that one. What if we hide this one? No. So you can play around with it like this. Just have the lights. So that's how you check for that.
Is that for all lights or is it for shadow casting lights? Because
That is for all lights.
all lights.
Yes.
What's the different rule with shadow casters then?
You can have 4 shadow casters in a cell only, no matter how big or small the cell is.
In a cell or in a room?
A cell, a whole cell,
Oh,
only 4 shadow casters. So place them wisely.
Lux increases that limit a bit, I think.
What you say, Leotric?
I think that if I remember correctly, the mod Lux thing in B is supposed to increase that limit. Or I might just be wrong.
If there's some kind of limit of lights or what?
The Shadowcaster lights, there's a limit of 4 per cell, but I'm pretty sure that Lux Orbis increases that.
I don't think, because that's an engine limit.
Oh, okay. Then I must have heard her
So you
wrong
will
or
have
something.
you will have to do some reverse engineering in the engine limit to have more.
Okay, then I must have heard it wrong.
Yeah, you can have that. Okay, next thing. We just turn this off. Now we're just gonna do this lights and effects done. Finish that chapter. We'll go to the shack, and this is mostly for you SCP students, my pupils in there. I created this beautiful shack. And as you can see right now, if you turn lights on, there is absolutely nothing in here. It's just dull and boring. And we're going to change that and make it absolutely beautiful. So, to do this, we just start to place some lights. And now you can see I will be using one. I have a light there. I have the embers, and I have over here a light as well. I'll be using 3 lights only. 3 light bulbs in here. And then a sunlight on top of it. So that gives 4 lights in total, which is lucky, so they can all be shadow casting. Oops, if I just know how to spell, it would be a lot better. Default. And have it look a bit. A bit realistic. We will scale it down. Approximately around this. Yeah, looks good. I will duplicate this. And I'll go into the cell again if I can find it. I think the table is broken here or something. But how you fix that? Simply just by rotating this. That way. So make sure when you place these shadow casters that you have rotated this away down here. I think they show that in the tutorial as well. Around there. We can have it down here. And we can actually do the same over here. down like that. See if we can find a sweet spot. That's, I'm not sure we can do that. Somewhere around that. Around here. Just turn up this lights up. And then we'll have a firelight over here. This is the shadow. No. Nope. Nope. That one. There it was. Something like this. Turn down a bit. Yeah. This looks about right. And we have no weird edges. We have if we do that. So we don't do that. Right there. Perfect. And now for the fun part. To create the atmosphere. Here I have placed a chimney smoke. FX smoke chimney. So when you look here, there's smoke going out of this window. So now we go to movable static and dust effect. Dust beams we will use. And you can see we have these lovely holes here, here, and here. We will put a dust effect into. And of course, we will give it some emittance. Region sunlight. Oops. We will place one over here. And we will place one here. And then we will give it a skylight. You do that over here. Show sky, show region. And let's say this is a region in the rift, for example. So we just go down our weather, rift, and the rift. Yeah. And choose that. Apply. Yes. And you can see the void is now a beautiful sky. So when we look through the roof here, we will see the sky. And then we can do the most beautiful thing for these shacks if they're built in interior. Place a sunlight. We will drag it up. Give it a good light radius. How far is it? So if we move this door, just move this. So now I have these nice effects on the walls and on the floor. And if we turn on effects, oops, I might need to give this an emittance. We can give it as a rift one. I think that should work as well, maybe. Yeah, it does. So now we really have a nice looking shack. That is more beautiful than just one light ball lighting up everything. I hope you agree with me that this looks much better.
Indeed.
Thank you. So that's also a way to use them. These beams and emittance and everything. And for my students for SCP, I expect to see this on your shacks. So I hope you have taken some notes. Sorry, I've just been sick this week, so I'm not all well yet. I hope you bear with me. And of course, you can move these up and down if you want them to be more or less visible. We have them just under here, and they are more visible. Or you can just move them up. They are less visible. We can do something more here. We can just give it some trees around. Just to we can this out, have this. That and like that. And you can actually create a whole forest out here if you want. That can be seen through this window. Let's just use this right in front. Now we're gonna have this. Oops. So if we go in now, we have trees, and they give a good illusion. We have a tree there and over here. And to give an illusion of the sun, we use the magic one again here. The glow. And just scale it down, and we can have it. Can have it over here. sunlight. Yes. And we should be able to see, yeah, if I can find it. There we have it.
Excuse me.
Yes.
May I know what software are you using?
What you're saying, I can't hear you.
May I know what software are you using? Software.
What is? I have hard time hear what you say.
Software.
Can I know what is software? Huh?
Creation kit.
Creation kit. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you are asking for software. Yeah, this is a creation kit for Skyrim.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So that is our lovely kit.
Does what you place outside the shack depend on where you want the shack? So if you're in the middle of a dense forest, you have to put a lot of trees there.
Yeah, you can place a lot of trees around it.
Can you also place like mountains in the background or something like that?
Yes, you can. We
Okay,
can just let's see, and remove that, and we can go into static and let's see, mountain. Yes, that one. Like that. This was a quite big one. Have you ever been inside the hunter shack in Skyrim? You know where Froki is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's an interior shack. They have a mountain in the background.
Okay. I wondered how they did it and just assumed it kind of.
That's like that. So now see, you have the mountain in the background.
Okay, yeah.
And you can see it through. So that's how you do that. It's quite a huge mountain for just this little shack.
Maybe if you placed it farther away, it's more visible.
We can do like that. We can actually just do something like this. Just turn everything off here. It makes it easier to see. You can even see it through the window here. So it's depending on what area you're placing the house, it's a good idea to show it around if it's possible to look out in some way. But this is also the reason why farmhouses and most interior cells doesn't have actual windows you can look through, because they will have to create everything outside in the cell. If that makes any sense.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
Good. So any more questions about emittance and these effects? And of course, just go back to the cave here to give it even more life. We can have some mist here in the bottom. We can, there's these ones. They're just round mist. They are used very much in almost all cells in Skyrim, all dungeons and castles and ruins and what's not. They have these mist effects. You will see them all over the place. We can just place one, markers on, and let's see if we do this. this covers everything. Yes. There we go in, and you see here. Lower it up and lower down. Gives a nice effect in the bottom. And you can use them up here as well.
If you want tensor mist, do you overlap multiple mist meshes? Or how do you do it?
Don't place a two mist right on top of each other. Like just duplicate this and say that's it. Because if you have a light source on it, it will flicker like crazy.
Okay.
I think you can. They have different density. These mist, as you see, this one can almost not be seen. But what you can do is, if you want, let's see, you can change the emittance on it with the interior light. For example, if you want something that could be like a ghostly realm or something, I have found that Azura Blue is a good one to use. So you can play around with the emittance on it, and you can even create your own light to put on. Interior lights is from here. You can pick between all of these for the interior emittance, so you can just create a new one. If there's no color you want to use. And we can take the red water, then light. That wasn't so good. Almost can't be seen. But this was supposed to be somewhat red. So one thing more for effects I can show you. If we just hide that one, can we find a hole in the floor? Yes, there. We can make some dripping effects with. Oh, let's see. That was too high, like that. That's just a little place for some water here. And of course, make sure these edges can't be seen. There you go. We can create some dripping effects into it. Målstatus. Drips. And there's some different ones here you can choose. We just take this one. And let's see where it's there. So we want something about that. Yeah. And place it.
Is there also static water? That one looks like it's moving, or does it change in?
No, there's no static water. There are. I just took the one I just found. You can look. They are here under Activator, and you can just look through. Some are more in movement than others, I think.
Maybe puddle. Puddle doesn't seem like it would move.
Nah, puddle is a weird one. But we can try and use that instead. Still some movements. That. Oops.
But I think that's better than the river water that just looks like it's flowing.
Yeah, this is a little more still. And right now you can't see the drips because the drips are visible if they have a light source on it. So we can just place a light and I can show you how it should look. Let's see. We just take, yeah, this is fine. And effects. And you can see here it strips. Can you see it?
Yep.
Good. And if we hide it, it's almost non-visible. And where there's drips, there's splashes. Splashes doesn't come with the drips. So we're gonna place a splash right there. There you have the splashes. And of course, if you want, the drips will be affected by this as well. So if you want blood coming down, you can create a red light and then have blood coming down. And if you have placed a drips effect where there's absolutely no light source, where it doesn't make sense to have light source, you can also do this. And you can use the Azure Blue or something magic here. Magic Frost is a good one to use. It have almost the same color as water. So you can pick some of them. And that will also make it visible. More visible than this. So that's how you do that. And I know we'll be covering this later, but I can just show you very quickly. Under sound marker, we can have a drip. So now it have sounds as well. When the player get close, they can hear drips. And place it as close to the surface where it drips as possible. It's not a very loud one, so the player has to be really close before they can hear it. Maybe move it up a bit. That's how you do that. I think that was everything.
For sound effects, is there a way to make those like activate at a larger range or be louder at all, or no?
Not unless you change the sounds themselves, I think. I don't really know, to be honest. No. If you go into edit, you can only pick what sound this marker should. You can just try this one. Maybe if you change some in here. This is the sound file that the sound marker is playing. You can hear it if you press play. Then you can hear the sound. Remember to press stop, because if you press play and cancel, it doesn't stop the sound. So it's fun if you forget that sometime and you sit there wonder, what is this I'm hearing? Oh, I forgot this. Oh,
what?
and that's all. Okay, so I'll just cover that now.
Use that to drive myself insane one day.
And for these holes, I haven't seen any vanilla dungeons do it, but I tend to like to do it, especially over here where we have, or we can do it in the shack where it probably would make more sense. You can go here. Bird tree. You can place a sound marker just above the house. So the player can hear birds when they're in the house as well. I haven't really seen vanilla dungeon do this in interiors, which is a shame because it makes good sense. So, what's the next thing? There was NavMesh cave, wasn't it? Yes. So let's get back to this lovely cave. Yeah. And just NavMesh this part. As you can see here, the cave floor is really uneven. Really uneven. And we tend to tell students that they have to make their NavMesh follow the ground. It's really important. So they take it a bit too serious, a bit too literal when doing these caves. So they do something like this. Let's see here. They have a... Oh no, this is floating, this is bad. So they do this, and then they do this, and then they do this, and this. No, not that. This, and this, and this. And they have all these triangles. And they see, oh no, it's floating here. So they're going in and doing even this. And say, this is good, but this is actually quite bad. Because the more triangles the game has to load, the more it takes on the performance. So we want less. This is just, it's too much. And then they would go like this and like this and like this. So we don't need that. What we do is like, you have one there, you have one there, then you can have one here. Just turn this on, and so much easier to see now. Here, here, there. This is just perfect for mines and cave floors. You don't have to go absolutely nuts with it. There's no need for that. We can have one there, we can have one there.
So basically, we should just think of it as a two-dimensional floor.
Yeah, just a normal flat floor. See, this is much better. Much better. And make sure that you floor make sure you have your verts to the floors, so they are not levitating like this. If you give me something that I have to review and I see this, I'm gonna kick your butt.
So I'm guessing the in-game AI is smart enough to usually navigate this either way.
We would rather this than this. We would actually have it like, we just turn this on like this. Have it just under the floor, and they can navigate just fine.
Got it. Thank you.
This is This is good. You don't have to like this and floor, this and then floor. Take this over there and let's see, we can do one here, one there, one there. You don't have to do something like this. You can do like this, for example. Have one up here. This would be okay. So it looks like this. This is also okay. And it's the same with mine floors as well. That was. So we're going to do this. And now we're going to do some exterior NavMesh. Bethesda have been so kind as to let me use this one. Lucius Tomb. Oops. Not the interior. That's not the one we want right now. I want to go to the exterior. And I have no idea why they're not showing this in the tutorial. It's annoying. Do yourself a favor and hide trees. It's much easier because trees have such a large collision. See, I'm pressing all the way over here and it selects the tree. So annoying. You just hide those. So here we have the entrance to Lucius Tomb as they tell you to do. And if you go look NavMesh, we can see they have fucked up. They have placed it on top of NavMesh. Like, why do that? Now we have NPCs and animals bumping into it, and that just looks stupid. So there are two ways you can deal with this. There's this way, where you select the objects two objects here. You can just take the outermost, and then you go up here and this one create a collision box, collision cube. And then you move it in to like something like this. Just so it covers. Cover the whole structure, the whole thing. You can also do it with a lock like this. And normally this would be yellow. I don't know why mine is black. For some reason this is black. It used to be yellow. You place a collision cube and you double click it. You go primitive. And under collision layer, you go Navcut. And OK. Now NPCs know that they can't walk here. The player can walk here, can walk through it, but the NPCs cannot. It's simply just, like a barrier for them. So this is very useful if you don't want to read NavMesh if you place something in the exterior. This is very, very useful to use. It's called Navcut. But if you just keep it on this transparent and place it, it's like it does if we just move it out a bit. Now the player can't go into this cube. The player can only walk through here. Then there's an invincible wall, and you can use it and you can take a collision plane as well. That's just a plane. It's very useful if you have some gaps in your dungeon or house that you don't want the player to get stuck in, fall down into and get stuck in. It's very useful to place one of these. And there you don't have to set a collision layer. But let's do this. Yes. And we will go fix. And what you see here is a cell border between two cells with NavMesh. And I will show you in a bit how to deal with that. But first we will cut out some NavMesh instead of deleting it, because we have to redo a lot of this. So what we will do is we will mark autosave, make you start all over. Take all these, mark all of these triangles. And when you're cutting out a NavMesh out, you can't go across border. So we have to do it twice when you have a cell border. So now we have marked some NavMesh. We go here, move selection to separate NavMesh, press it, and just let it work. And as you can see here, it has messed up the NavMesh completely somewhere. That's okay. You just close, give it a few seconds, and again. And we have this beautiful yellow line. So what we do is we do this. Oh, it didn't check everything. I must have forgot that one. But now when we click into this, we just see, can we do everything in once instead? I don't know. Let's see. Just try one more time. I can't tell if this is selected or not. It's not. Now it is. Ah, I can do that. Okay, we just do it twice then. But you just select one random NavMesh within the blue here. Press F, select all, and you see it doesn't select anything else because it has been cut out. Then you just press Z and you can move it down. Although it is still, and we can see over here it is still. I have to start this all over. I fucked up. Sorry. Shit happens.
The first time I did nav cutting, I had to redo it like 9 or 10 times, and I'm not joking.
Oh my god.
It was sad.
It sounds really sad, yeah. And still, as I remember, you ended up with a deleted NavMesh. Which is actually what we want to avoid by doing this, by doing it this way. Oops. Instead of deleting, we are cutting the NavMesh out. Let's see if we can do it a bit better this time. Pat, you can remove this from the video if you're going to edit it, please.
No, keep it in, please.
Yes,
No.
it's much more fun.
Damn it. I wonder if this is yellow now. Yeah, the collision box. This is the collision box you'll see when you do that for Navcut or collision, an invisible collision. That's how it looked like. Good. All right, let's try again. Want these off? We want this. Select that one. And we just select all these without making a mistake. And everything turns green now. Good. Yes. Give it a few seconds. Load it up again. Look at that. Voila. Beautiful. So we're gonna put this into the ground by holding Z and drag down. So now it's there. And to make it easier for us to re-NavMesh, we're going to hide it. So we don't accidentally hook our NavMesh into this NavMesh. The NPCs, this is so far down that NPCs won't ever get to use it. So we hide it with H, give it a few seconds, and it's hidden. Like that. And we will do the same over here. I got everything? Yeah, I think so. Move section.
But if you're redoing it, why can't you just delete it?
Because if vanilla is somehow depending on that NavMesh you're deleting, you can break people's game. And you can end up with a deleted NavMesh record, which also will break the game for people. So never ever delete vanilla NavMesh. Do it like this instead. This, and we move it out. Oh, I got that one. Damn it. Failed again. So now I'm just doing something that I know is really off limit here. Oh, I can't select them. Delete it. I deleted it. Don't ever do that. If you do it like I just did here, start over. But I don't want to sit here the whole night. So now we're going to re-NavMesh. And when in interior, when in exterior it's named. If you press B, you can see the cell borders. It is this blue line. That's the cell border. And you can't NavMesh across that, as you will soon see. If you just place, we have a triangle here. And if you see, I can move it across there. I can't move it, I can't move these across. They just stop. So if we hook that up to the door, and we do that as far as it can come to there, and this one to there. Maybe just do it a little better, like that. A beautiful line there, and then like that. And you want these verts to be the same on both sides of the cell border. So when you have a vert here, you want a vert here. Otherwise, it can't create the border. This was actually quite a bad NavMesh, because I had one there. Where is it? There. Hook it to this one, to this one. Do we have the next? Is that one whole line? Yeah. Get all the way down there and down there and we can say like.
Does the elevation of the steps not really matter in this case? With nav meshes?
With the steps?
Yeah, if the elevation is different.
No, like here you have to. It's not really so important as long as you don't have the NavMesh way above the ground or under the ground. Like this is too much, and this is too much.
Okay.
So something like that. If you can see here, it follows quite good. The most important is that these edges are linked together, like when we do it. They are on top of each other. Especially on cell borders, that's where it's. By the way, this wasn't good. Because there's no cell border there. So let's just. We can add this into one. You can see this is a vanilla vert. It's okay, but it still works, but it's not good enough for me. I want it down. So we're soon ready to finalize this. This looks a lot better. Now we won't have NPCs or animals bumping into this and go home with a headache. So we're doing a check for errors, no found. Draw cover edges and finalize. And this should turn green. And they didn't. Why didn't they do that? This should turn green. I know why. That's why. And over here we have. I got confused by this blue line. Thought that was a cell border, but of course it isn't. Yeah, connect. Now it should work. So don't do the same mistake as I did with confusion. That you're confused by the blue line there was. Because that's of course not the cell border.
Then what was it?
It's here. It's this yellow line.
Yeah, but what
If
was the
you-
blue line?
That was just because we have cut out NavMesh.
Okay.
It shows the edge for the cut out NavMesh. I just got confused by that. So now it should work. Let's just check for errors. No. Don't hit that. And yeah, when you get these green lines, that means the borders are connected. So now I finally did it right. This is how you want it to look. So make sure you get all in both sides connected. Especially when you're dealing with this. You want all four. Yeah, you want all those on top of each other. And as you can see here, the elevation difference. And it still somehow works. That was better. So that's how you deal with cell borders and make Navcuts. Any questions for that? No?
Mm,
All right. Now we can move on to occlusion planes. Anyone know what they are? What they are meant to be doing?
They hide stuff in the map, in the minimap.
No.
They don't? Okay.
No. That's the black plane.
Oh yeah, I confused those, so sorry.
Okay. I'll show you my take on when I did Lucia's Tomb. I didn't build the layout and everything with the room bounds in mind. So when I got to the optimization part, I was like, I can do this. It will clip together the room bounds, and we can't have that. So I did something else. I placed occlusion planes all over the place. It is these, and just drag it out here.
so the player can go there.
No, like this one. This is an occlusion plane. It hides everything that is behind the occlusion plane. it doesn't render it. So for example, if let's just find a good spot. When the player stands in this room, and because I don't have room bounds, without the occlusion planes, when looking down through looking at the floor, the game would render everything down here as well. But because I have these occlusion planes placed, the game won't render it until the player can see it. They work the same way as room bounds, although they don't hide whole rooms. So you have to place them by each wall. As you can see, I have placed them everywhere.
That looks like a headache.
It took around 2 days to do this. And when you're placing them, you have to make sure that they are not clipping through anywhere where the player can see, because then you will have a gap. You will be able to see the void. So as you can see, they are just everywhere. By the way, this is my Lucius tomb. Not at all Lucius tomb. But this was my take on it. And here we have, again, everywhere. They're good to have if you, for example, have like this. And you can place one here so you hide this part of the rubble that the player will never see. They're good use for that. And you place them simple by, let's just go to another place where there's not so much. Yeah, we can just play that we are going to hide this room completely. So you mark here and you go occlusion plane. It's this O button. And you press in the render window where you want it, and it creates this little box. You can rotate and you can scale as you will.
What button do I press to scale it?
You press 2.
2. Okay.
The number 2, you get this gizmo. So that was occlusion planes, how to place them and what they do. They simply hide everything between them. Not between them, everything that's on the other side of it. So, and make sure they are not clipping through anywhere. But always when you do your layout, always do layout with the room bounds in mind, or you'll just end up hating yourself.
Hey Kasala, I have a question regarding occlusion planes.
Yo,
For my Logiers tomb, I made it so that all the rooms are really close to each other, so that when you're in one of the rooms, the monsters in another room, in another on the other side of the walls,
yeah,
they get activated.
yeah,
Do occlusion planes stop that?
no.
Do you know any way to stop that?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it has to do something with the aggro meter or something.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Thank you.
I have problem with that myself.
You can also just do something like put ambushes in and then have them basically like get activated by trigger boxes instead, out of the vision of the player.
Yeah, that's what I've done, but
I think he's means something like this. This is a necromancer, for example. When I go into my dungeon, into this room, the necromancers in this room gets activated, gets aggro.
yes,
in
except
the aggro state, and then I have to fight 4 or 5 necromancers at once.
yes, but turn that into Draugrs that's in their tombs.
Yeah,
how do you say it?
I don't know how to avoid that.
Yeah.
Now we're here, we can just take the black planes where we added. They are static objects, black plane 01. Just search for that, drag it in, scale it as you want. What it'll do, it'll simply hide from your local map everything that is beneath it. And I have a good example here. I took this earlier today from my Cyrodiil dungeon. And you can see. Yeah, this is without occlusion planes. You can see all the rubble all around here. Rubble everywhere. It's not looking so nice, but with occlusion planes, it looks nice and clean. Now, not occlusion planes, sorry, black planes. So this is the difference.
Is there a way to see the local map in Creation Kit so you know if you place them right? Do you have to just like hope for the best?
Hope for the best and know how to place them.
Okay.
As you can see, when I did Lokia's Tomb, I didn't know how to use them correct. These are just placed wild. So we can just try to place one. Hide all the markers, they're ugly as fuck. Let's see, where do we have? Okay, we have the wall around here. So what I tend to do is once it get visible around here, I just drag it out till I can't see it anymore. Just about there. It can't be seen. Or can it? It can be seen there. So we can either move it to the side or you can scale it down. That's up to you. But place it so it can't be seen anywhere inside your dungeon. And just drag it up. And you do that black pane for black pane for black pane. You do that a lot of times. So the next one, you can just do like this. But then you have corners and you will have to turn it. And again, turn it. And again. Because and now we are hitting a wall here, so I have to check it down and see, okay, I got too far. I have to move it this way, like that. You see, I can't see it here, and I can't see it here. So it's good. And up. So that you will have to do all the way around your dungeon. I'm not going to do that because it will take the rest of the evening. And that will result in quite a few of these. I think in this one I have around maybe 100 black planes to give it this look. But it's nice and clean. The next thing. Okay, we take this afterwards. No, we take that now, so we stick to plan. It is the weapon rack and weapon plates I wanted to show you. These. How to make them work. So we are going to do a new one. If we just delete that one. We're going to create this one over here. And you could do that by going to Activator. Weapon. Weapon plaque. Player house. We want to use. Now I have to find the right one. This one. Weapon rack plaque player house. The player house one model. That's the one you want to use. Oh. I have it there. Beautiful on the wall. Then you want to take the activator. Weapon rack plate activator. Markers on. It is this beautiful white box. Have it somewhere about this one. And drag it out. And these can be quite fiddly because creation kit is creation kit. So we just do this. Give it 0.1 on both of these. And we can do it here. So now we are absolutely sure it works. And now we have to link them together. Start with double click this one. Linked. Double click that one. And it will need the. Sorry, I just had an alarm. It will need the weapon rack activator keyword. This one on it. And we want to check this one. And double click this one. And this one would need the weapon rack trigger keyword on it. So it looks like this. Weapon rack trigger for the activator. And weapon rack activator for the plague. And then we can move this in. Then we can go find a weapon here. Just give him a glass great sword. Oops. Oh, that's okay. You can have it like you want. And you check this one, the activator, and link the weapon to that. Link it to the weapon, and okay. So now when you go in game, this weapon is placed on the rack. You can take it and you can place it again. And the same method goes for this one, the weapon rack. As you can see, this one, weapon rack activator, is linked to this one. And this one, with the keyword trigger, is linked to this one and to the greatsword. And of course, if you place more of these, if you have a weapon rack with 3 or 4, you have to do that for every single one. And when you place these weapon racks here, remember the end pieces. They are not part of the rack itself. They are weapon rack end caps, static object in the static category. And lastly, we have this one. If you know this one with a shield and 2 swords. I can show you how to do it, but I recommend you not do it yourself. Simply just go to Breeze Home and copy paste the one from there. This is a copy paste from that one. Because when I tried to link everything together, it didn't work. It is just Bethesda in a nutshell again. But I will show you anyway, at least quickly. This consists of 3 pieces. We have this one, we have this one, and we have the middle one. Again, under Activator. Where do we have them there? It is these. And you want to go with the player house models. For example, this one is the left piece. And the weapon rack is this one. No, this one. This one we want to use. Always go with the player house one. And then again, these markers are also right, mid, left. And you have to link them together one by one. So that's how you link those together. But do yourself a favor and just copy the one from Breeze Room. It's much easier for you. And then you can change the sorts as you wish to whatever one you want when you have copied it. So that's how you do those. And I think we don't need much now. Sound markers we have covered. Ore veins, quickly. I have one here in my cave. By the way, any questions to weapon racks?
No.
Good. Ore veins, I have placed an ore vein here, and we're going to, if you just place an ore vein like this, it won't work in game. You can't activate it. So we have to do that. But go under furniture and take pickaxe. And we have 3 different ones. We have the wall when the ore vein is on the wall. We have the floor when it's in the floor, and we have the table, which is the one we are using here. So you get this nice one. Just turn it around, place it something like this. This one should be almost even with the ground. It's hard to do. And these shouldn't go, this one up here shouldn't go too much into like this. If you do like this, it won't work. Or if you do like this, it won't work. So place it approximately something like this. Maybe just a little too much down. Like this. And then you double click the ore vein, you link, and you select the furniture. Simple as that. Now it's working. Now you can activate it in game. Any questions for that? Don't think so.
Does it work from every area now, or just that one spot where the marker is?
You can activate this hole all over, but the player will stand here. This decides where the player will stand. You can place it over here if you want.
So what if you have several of them for every ore?
I don't think that works. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried doing that. Yeah, you can try and tell me if it works. So that's how you make Orwains work. Quite simple. So what we are missing now? Very quick. The acoustic space. When you're in here, the cell info acoustic space, that applies to the whole dungeon. But if you're going to make something like a cave that goes into a Dwemer ruin or what's not a Nordic ruin or something, you can change the acoustic space for a room or more rooms if you want. You simply do that by, let's see where it is. It is there. This box right here next to the C. And you click that and you click in your cell. And you get this where you can pick the acoustic space you want. So let's see. This is a cave, so we can make this sound like, I don't know, a mine just for this occasion. You'll get this pink box with these gizmos that you just do like this, like this, like this. So whenever the player is inside this box, they have the acoustic space that you have assigned to the box. In this case, the mine, instead of the cave. Very useful. And for effects, you will go to this box, create a trigger box. And here you will type effect. And you will take this one, FX camera attach effect. And okay. And you get this fine little looking box. So for example, if you want to, let's see, this room here should be falling leaves. Although it doesn't make sense to have fallen leaves in here. Just make sure it covers everything. Oops. This one. So now we got that covered. You go under scripts and it already have the right script attached, but we need to tell it which effect it has to use. So you double click it and this one, it have automatically, it has the blowing fog effect, but you can choose anywhere from here to here. All these effects you can choose. So for example, if you wanted leaves windy effects. Okay. So now when you go into this room, you will see leaves flying around. Very useful. A lot of dungeons use this where they have.
Is it only affected when you're in the box, or does it like toggle it on, the like stop working after you leave it?
I think it works all the time, but if you have room bounds, it won't render until
Okay.
you are inside the room. Like this, then you can have a room bound here for this room as well. So when you're over here, this won't blow. And when you go to exterior in Skyrim Vanilla World Switch, you will see these all over the place, and in dungeons they are everywhere with different effects. So that's how they do that.
Can you have several effects on top of each other?
I think I never tried with 2 effects, but it has the option to have an effects 2.
Okay. Thanks.
So I think you can do that, yeah. Example, dust effect, that's fine. Yeah, you have 2 effects here on one. And I think the last thing in Creation Kit we're gonna get to cover is the Northmarker. And I'm going to do that in Lucia's Tomb. Delete these. To know what is north in your dungeon, you will place the Northmarker, of course. If I can spell. This yellow arrow. Wherever it points, that is north on your compass. The important thing is that the north is the same when you're in exterior as it is interior. So you want to make sure which way is north when you're standing outside and looking into the door to your dungeon. So you can match this up. And when you are, if you're doing dungeons that have a separate entrance and exit, that's not the same door. You have to make sure that if you are dungeon, if we say north is this way, and you build your dungeon this way, and you have an exit over here, that the exit is not south of the entrance when you get out of the dungeon. It has to be north of the entrance. Otherwise, it just looks really weird and unlogical. And I have tested here in game before this to see where is north. When looking at Lucia's Tomb, you can see actually just quite straightforward. So that's lucky. It's something like this. This is maybe a little bit too much, to be honest. Something here, maybe? Yeah. So now when you go into the dungeon, you have north this way on your compass. So it matches the exterior. And you use this whether you do houses or dungeons or whatever. Every time you create an interior cell, you use this one. Very important. And I'm just gonna do some things here that we can clean out. When I'm just going to show you how to clean plugins. Back with you. So this is the last thing we are going to cover. And I will let you all have a good night afterwards.
You also kept mentioning room borders. How do you exactly make good room borders?
When you do Lucia's Tomb, you'll learn it. And
Okay.
I really advise you to go through that tutorial.
Kasala, what is xEdit?
This?
No, the xEdit.
xEdit.
The.
xEdit.
What? Isn't it supposed to be an X instead of a Z, or how you pronounce it now?
Oh, this is just. Let's just go out.
In the mod launcher.
Yeah, this is xEdit. It's just xEdit is a program used to clean all.
No, in your run bar, the zEdit.
No,
Yes.
that.
Yes, I used xEdit before. I know how to use that. Thank you.
This one.
Yes, that one. What
Yeah,
is that?
that's you use it to create merges.
Oh,
Merge mods together and some other stuff.
okay.
I actually only use it for my playthrough profile.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have a few one here to show you. To do. You all know this program?
I do.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
I used it for the first time like 2 days ago, so I'm very new to it.
So very new to it. It's important to learn the basics of it because it's mandatory. It's so important to use when you do level design. Because here we can load up our ESPs and see what information they actually have. And I tend to say that Creation Kit is like your girlfriend. It remembers every fucking thing you do. So here we can.
Yeah, I don't know why they need to know all of this stuff. I don't.
Neither do I. Here we can see cells, navigation, world space. If we open up here, and Skyrim divides it up in blocks and sub-blocks. That's not important. And we can see here the editor ID and the cell name. This was our house. This was my my Lucia's Tomb tutorial. What do we have here? My cave, Lucia's Tomb, and what do we have here? My shack. And these are only records that are saved in my plugin. When you have a plugin and it has this color, no color at all, actually, that means it's a brand new record only present in this single plugin. If it have another color green, that means it's present in another plugin as well. And you can see over here which plugin it is. The game loads from here to here to here to here. So we can see this record. Form IDs can only occur once in game, so you can have two of this form ID. Only one. So you have, if you have multiple ESPs, make change to the same form ID, it will be shown with colors here and in the order up here, from left to right. The game only loads what's loaded in the last plugin. Good thing to remember. We have a whole video on this on YouTube. So we can go in here and we can see what changes we made to Lucia's Tomb. We can see we placed objects and by remembering what you're doing in Creation Kit, it makes it easier for you to understand what all this is. This is all the things I was moving around in the end. The Mist Low, Warlock Fire, Beam Dust. These things are things I moved but pressed undo to, so they went back into original place. But even though I do that, Creation Kit still remembers I have touched them, and thus it saves the information. So to remove all that, what we are not going to use. By the way, when you're creating a dungeon or a plugin for whatever reason, you only want to keep what is necessary for your plugin to work. So everything else you have to remove. So it's a good idea to get familiar with this program. There's a whole Bible about it if you want some good night reading, a good bedtime story. I can throw the link in the level design channel afterwards. But simply to remove records, just right click and you press remove. And yes I do. And yes, I want to remove these records. Because I'm not, although they are records changed in Lucia's Tomb, I'm not changing them from the original Lucia's Tomb tutorial complete ESP. So even though I remove these mists, they are still present in the original ESP. I just remove the changes I made to these. And you can move all on once as well. Boom. And you can remove these entries as well. For example, for my mod to work, I don't need subblock 2, so I can actually remove that one completely. And I don't need this one, so I can remove that as well. So now we have an almost clean plugin wise here. That's how you do cleaning of your plugin. Look through everything, open up everything and see. And so we make quite a few changes to the world space. That's because we made NavMesh. That tends to have a large effect. When you create a new cell in Creation Kit, I didn't show you the correct way. You go under world space, no, world, and cells, and right click and create a new one. It doesn't do it. The tutorial teaches you, which is right click on AAA markers and duplicate it and change it. Because what you may accidentally do, this is a plugin kindly provided by Everhard, who made this mistake. If we go open here, you can see he has created a dungeon named Castle Weaver's Cairn, but it's green. And why is it green? Because we can see that over here. Skyrim have this form ID, and it's called AAA markers. So what he has actually done, he has created his dungeon in the original AAA markers cell, which is pretty bad, because that's a cell you don't want to mess with. We can see here why. It contains a bunch of X markers that the Skyrim vanilla game actually uses, and he has deleted them. And this is bad because these X markers are actually linked to some quests. So here I have made edits to quests, made some changes. As you can see, he have removed that. Although he didn't directly edit the quests at all, he has made edits to them. Just because he have deleted these.
Hey, Kasala.
Yo!
My Wi-Fi was out for a few minutes. What did I miss?
You have been gone for 40 minutes?
A few minutes.
Oh, just a basic cleaning of plugins. You already know.
Okay.
You already know that.
Yeah.
And now I'm showing why you never ever want to make a duplicate of the AAA markers cell and do it the tutorial kind of way of doing it, of making a new cell. You want to make a completely new cell. Don't duplicate anything. You just might end up doing this. And if you go to world space here, you can see you make changes on Solstheim and Forgotten Vale. And these are all unintentional changes because of this. You can see here, really bad. There's nothing here. There's no information. This is a sure way to break the game. And you can see here, there's tons of information here. And here, all this. So that's something you never, ever want to do. Create a new cell the correct way. And then my good friend Ruben have provided me with a plugin as well for this occasion. So we can see how to fix an deleted NavMesh record. And as I will show you how what looked like this. You can see Skyrim ESM have a NavMesh record for this form ID, but this ESP is deleting it. And that's also a sure way of break a game, but it is fixable. First, we want to, and we can see we have 4 new. This one is actually not needed because it's an identical to master, so we can just remove that. First, we can see here there are 4 new form IDs for NavMesh, and we want to find out which one of these matches this NavMesh the most. And we can see over here by it's quite a big. That's quite a lot of information. So if we take the first one here, it doesn't have that much information, so it's probably not that one. This one could be that one. If we compare them, quite a big one. This one, nah, no. And this one, no. Okay, so of these 4 possibilities, there's only one that matches this one, and it is this one. So how to fix this? We do this by right-click, change form ID, then you copy this. You copy this form ID, copy, okay. Then you remove this record, remove, yes, we want to remove it. And then we go to, make sure you pick the right one. Right-click, change form ID, and you paste in. In Danish it's set in, but paste, Control V. So we get this new form ID. Then you press OK, and you get this box. And you might have more boxes here to tick. You want to tick all that is present here. In this case, there's only one. You press OK, and you get one again. Again, there can be more than one box to tick, and press OK. That's it. If we do this now, we have fixed the deleted NavMesh. That is how you do that, if you should end up with that deleted NavMesh record. And then you just close and save, yes. That was it. And that was also all from me, I think. I don't think I have more, do I? No. No, I have been through everything.
Okay, thank you very much for the lecture.
You are welcome.